Hello, and welcome to the Trainual review. I'm going to be talking a little bit about some of the pros and cons of using the platform, as well as whether or not we think that it is worth the effort of using. So let's dive in. So to give you a little bit of an overview of what Trainual does, it pretty much helps you with onboarding new employees as well as training employees on different items that you might need them to learn. It helps with SOPs and all those kind of good things. So this is kind of one of those all-in-one platforms that helps you to, speed up the training process. So before we jump into the pros and cons, let's just tell you straight off the bat that once you have a team that, has reached a sufficient size with your company, using Trainual is definitely worth the time, expense, and the energy to train your employees on it. I mean, it's got a load of features and even a lot of training for you to know how to use the platform. So Trainual can really become a great asset in training and onboarding your new and existing employees. So definitely a thumbs up from us. All right, so to start off with the pros, Trainual really has a simple and intuitive dashboard that really makes creating and managing this whole process so that it doesn't, feel overwhelming, which it can. When you think about, training new employees and existing ones on different SOPs, it can kind of feel overwhelming. But given how great Trainual's dashboard is and their whole approach to the process, it really does kind of, mitigate some of that overwhelmed feeling. So Trainual offers you actually some really great training on how to use the platform itself, which is another big feature. As soon as you get into the dashboard, there are built-in walkthroughs and user guides that are super easy to follow and replicate. I know it's really easy to feel like you need a manual on how to kind of, make a manual, but Trainual really bypasses that completely and makes it super simple for you. Okay, so once you have, kind of looked around in Trainual and you're ready to go, they really have a lot of great templates to work with to get you started. So you don't have to worry about building things from scratch unless, your documentation is super specific to your industry. And if that's the case, then the content creation UI is super simple to begin with. So don't worry whether you just want to use a template or you need to have something that's more intricate and more customized. Then Trainual really takes into account both needs. So kind of going along with that and learning how to use Trainual, their advanced learning tools are awesome. So there's a lot of FAQs, forums, webinars, how-to guides, and even podcasts that Trainual leverages to be able to help you get the most bang out of your book. Okay, now let me talk about support because we had a billing issue where our card was charged for the annual bill instead of a monthly bill. And that was more of like, user error, not necessarily a Trainual error. But they granted a full refund and then swapped the account to the monthly within like 2 hours of the complaint. So, I mean, and that's despite their support team being offline. So, yeah, customer support is great. All right, and they also have, once you get into the nitty gritty of, working on building your training modules, they really have some great customization options. So you can do things like, change the default names of like subjects, topics, or curriculum, all those kind of things, which is really helpful for industry specific documents. This is it feels like software that was really built for you. It's not like you're trying to MacGyver something against its original purpose. It feels very fluid. And kind of going along with that is your ability to kind of designate certain content for specific roles or teams, which is really great for, keeping users focused on, what they need to know instead of, just like giving them a whole bunch of stuff that's not necessarily necessary for their role or in your company. So yeah, that's great. Also, reporting and average time to complete metrics are also super helpful for assessing the biggest time sinks during the learning process. So if you have a module where folks are just kind of getting stuck or that kind of thing, then these type of metrics are super helpful for finding those issues. Another great feature is kind of their built-in forum. This really allows for your team members to ask questions in like a central location. They can ask questions to their supervisors, which is great. You don't have to like get out, send an email about a question on the training. You can actually just do it straight there in Trainual's built-in forum, which is super handy. All right, last but not least is the dark mode. Can I just say that my eyes get super tired from staring at a screen all the time. So when working with Trainual, it was really great to get some relief and that they actually thought of that. So that was a super great touch. All right, so let's start talking about some of the cons. All right, so let's start off with user limit. Okay, both the Pro and the Premium plans cap out at 25. And it really feels like I should be allowed to have more users if I'm paying more. And they also kind of hide the price of increasing total users past 25, which is a little bit concerning. So if you are used to using different terms for content than, Trainual's default terms, and I mean things like subjects, topics, curriculum, all that kind of stuff, well, then the learning curve to start out with is a little bit steeper than with other tools. Now, having said that, though, their videos and guides make it really simple to understand, but, getting that initial learning curve out of the way, it is something to consider. All right, so another thing that kind of goes along with plan specific items is due dates for subjects. They're pretty much limited to only the premium plan. Now, I kind of feel like this is one of those, pretty essential features that you kind of need even at the pro level, who are still willing to pay over $100 a month. So I kind of feel like pro plan users should be able to use due dates as well. All right, and lastly is a little bit about integrations. So all the integrations kind of leave something to be desired. As a Zapier user, we'll be fine, but those who don't use Zapier, will kind of feel like Trainual's built-in catalog of our, native integrations, that it's probably going to feel a little bit sparse. So that's something to consider as well. Okay, that's everything that I have for the Trainual review. If you would like to take a deeper dive into what Trainual looks like and get even more of our thoughts on the platform, definitely check out the companion article to this video, which, like I said, does a much deeper dive than what I've done here. But other than that, thank you so much for listening, and I hope you have a wonderful day.